because they didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah, no one knew.
Yeah.
No one
They
knew.
don't need to know.
Yeah.
They know now.
Yeah, those who can do.
There, but for the grace of God. So what a responsibility you all have to be to tell the truth got full of the entire industry? I mean, it's a very strange place, Hollywood. It's an odd place, boy. It seems as if in being sacrificed over here, Mel Gibson and Denzel Washington team up to reveal. Hollywood's dark secrets. Hollywood is like a puzzle with hidden components, according to Denzel, and things have altered significantly. With Mel Gibson joining in, they're going to delve deep and uncover the truth, so get ready for some scorching Hollywood buzz that you won't want to miss out on. Two major movies. People are talking a lot about what Denzel said, and even Hollywood heavyweights are concerned that you're white or whatever if you are black or whatever we're standing here talking now. Barbie and Oppenheimer are setting records with their blockbuster opening numbers, but hold on to your seats because there's a surprise hit quietly stealing the spotlight at the box office. It's none other than Sound of Freedom, a gripping story about a former Homeland Security agent fighting against the dark world of human trafficking since its release on July 4 that has been making a splash, raking in an astonishing $166 million in earnings. And that's not all during the weekend of July 21. To 23, it even surpassed the highly anticipated Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning, Part 1, securing the third spot in box office earnings, trailing just behind the dynamic duo Barbenheimer. Back in the early 2000s, Jim Caviezel was getting really popular in Hollywood. This film undoubtedly is the best film I've done since then. He had a truthful and calm way of acting that made him shine in movies like Angel Eyes, The Count of Monte Cristo, and Frequency. But what made him famous worldwide was when he played the main character in the 2004 movie The Passion of the Christ, directed by Mel Gibson. The movie made a lot of money, but it also divided people's opinions. I just kept having visions about it and about, what was that like 12 hours like, and what was that really like. Some liked it, and some didn't, mainly because they thought it was too violent and had things that could be seen as negative towards certain religious groups, even though The Passion of the Christ made over $600 million in dollars around the world. Some people in Hollywood were reluctant to collaborate with Jim Caviezel because of his intense attachment to the movie and the part he portrayed as Jesus Christ, as well as his steadfast devotion to his Catholic religion. With his most recent film, Sound of Freedom, Jim Caviezel is dealing with a similar situation. But hold on to your hats because this is where the plot gets complicated. As Sound of Freedom continues its unstoppable ascent, it is attracting controversy that has Hollywood buzzing. The industry is trying to outlaw the movie, but there is a twist. The storm is being resisted by Denzel Washington. Denzel Washington is speaking out against Hollywood's attempt to silence Sound of Freedom, and he isn't afraid to be blunt about why he thinks the Hollywood Awards presentations are failing. Yes, you read that right. Sound of Freedom, directed by Alejandro Gomez Monteverde and written by Rob Barr, has not only won over audiences' hearts but also the attention of critics, earning a coveted A+ cinema score and an impressive 10 out of 10. Denzel is calling out the woke Hollywood elites for their insistence on pushing identity politics onto audiences, and he isn't holding back in pointing out that these people consider themselves above the rest while enjoying their opulent million-dollar mansions. There have been some small difficulties with Sound of Freedom. This movie was completed a few years ago under the direction of 20th Century Studios, but when Disney took over, they seemed to discard it while paradoxically investing almost $300 million in the Indiana Jones project, an endeavor that is not guaranteed to be profitable. Reports of delays and controversies have sparked discussions among both fans and critics. The irony is really powerful. Hollywood is infamous for measuring a film's success by its box office numbers, which is equivalent to saying Beyoncé is better than Beethoven based just on album sales. It's an odd analogy, don't you think? Even former President Donald Trump shared the movie trailer on his new social media platform in 2019 after appointing Tim Ballard to the State Department Advisory Council. There have surely been discussions about possible restrictions surrounding Venture Truth Social, and it will be unpleasant when the mainstream media targets these students next. However, Denzel Washington isn't taking this lying down. In a recent interview, He vehemently criticized Hollywood for its haughtiness and detachment from regular people in the context of some superstars being disconnected from reality. Denzel Washington comes across as a grounded person who openly expresses his dislike of such attitudes in the entertainment industry and keeps his perspective. I believe it to be more crucial. Headway in our own house by the time the system kicks in, the damage is already done. Fearlessly questioning the status quo, he stands out as a calm presence in the midst of mayhem in an interview that shocked the film industry. Even though some critics had mixed feelings, Denzel Washington shed light on Hollywood's murky and unsettling sides. He revealed how influential industry elites occasionally try to persuade actors to take on roles that go against their moral convictions. The movie Sound of Freedom is currently doing very well at the box office. It had some production issues, but it received support from many well-known people, including Mel Gibson. The story's development began in 2015, and the movie's production began in 2017. The project was placed on hold after Disney acquired Fox, which prompted some to believe that Disney is collaborating with a group of people they refer to as satanic elitists. The rights were purchased by a firm called Fox. Well, the filmmakers made a concerted effort to regain the rights to Sound of Freedom. Several well-known celebrities endorsed the film. The first step in stopping this crime is raising awareness, so go see Sound of Freedom. Since the film's release, there have been several controversies, one of which involves the absence of air conditioning in the theaters. Mel Gibson shared a video in which he urged people to go see the film Human Trafficking, and particularly the trafficking of children. Many people have been talking about how AMC theaters and Regal cinemas didn't have working air conditioning during showings of the new film Sound of Freedom. Shut off for Sound of Freedom at Cinemark El Paso, Texas. It's worth considering that the movie came out during a time of extreme heat. Temperatures have reached record highs for multiple days in a row all around the world, including the United States. A heat dome has covered a large part of the country, especially hitting the Southwest really hard. When it's this hot, regular air conditioning systems might struggle or even break down, causing discomfort for moviegoers. Do you think this could be part of a plan or just a result of the unusual heat? It's interesting to note that major streaming platforms like Netflix, Disney, and Amazon have reportedly said no to distributing the movie. Also, some Hollywood stars who usually speak up about important topics and help children are staying quiet about this movie. This is strange because usually they're not silent. One reason might be that these celebs are scared to talk about it. They might get in trouble or lose opportunities if they say the wrong thing. Jim Caviezel, who plays a character in the film, has even admitted that his decision to work in Sound of Freedom cost him his legal counsel and agency. Some people question if there is a purpose behind everything and believe that perhaps someone is deliberately generating these problems.